This is the Mercedes-Benz GLC. And before we go any further, let's talk about that very confusing naming strategy. Because out of all the systems, it's still the one that makes me stop and do some mental maths before I can work out which one that is. So if the G means it's an SUV, and then the C is the size of the car it's based on in relation to the core model range, then I should be looking at a mid-size crossover. But even if you don't remember what random collection of letters it's being called, chances are you'll still probably recognise it because it is their most popular and best-selling SUV, and a very good-looking one it is too. One thing I really like about this car are its neat dimensions. It's nice and compact on the outside, very city-friendly, very parkable, but still very spacious inside. It's got a nice bit of height, a nice bit of presence, great colour, a classy badge. It's just everything that you want and expect a Mercedes SUV to look like. As I just mentioned, space inside is very generous, and it has a very useful 580 litre boot that makes it actually larger than both of its deadliest rivals in the BMW X3 and Audi Q5. It's got a nice flat floor with no load lip, which makes it very easy to slide things in and out. You've got hooks, you've got tether points, you've got split folding rear seats that fold flat, completely flat, with the push of a button, and a very classy electrically operated tailgate. The first thing I notice when I get into the back is the nice bit of height that you get in these seats. Now that not only makes it very easy to get into and accessible, but also very comfortable for a longer journey because there's very little bend in the leg. It's also very spacious back here. I'm 5'6", that seat is set for me, and I've got more than enough legroom and plenty of headroom too. Now there is quite a large hump in the floor here, so like most of its rivals, it is better suited to 2 than it is 3. But those 2 should be very comfortable with the comfort on offer back here, with a pull-down centre armrest complete with cup holders. They've got plenty of storage options and a couple of USB ports for charging. Again, in the front, that bit of extra height makes for a very natural driving position, and one that also offers plenty of adjustment to help keep you feeling fresh behind the wheel. Space up here is also very good, with lots of clever storage areas to help keep everything nice and tidy. Now you might have noticed that the infotainment setup in here isn't quite as slick as what we've seen on some of the newer Mercedes models, and they've stuck with this floating touchpad effect in the GLC, although the screen on this updated model is larger and it is now running off the very impressive new MBUX Mercedes infotainment system. You can also go for the new fully digital instrument cluster behind the wheel here, but you will have to pay for it or else put up with this semi-digital one, which is starting to feel a little bit dated, but that's only because the newer ones are so good. Now the system itself is a really excellent one to use and offers plenty of choice in how you use it. You've got a touchpad controller down here. The screen itself is a touchpad. You can use these more little touchpad controllers on the steering wheel, or of course the infamous Hey Mercedes voice control system. Let's try and do a demo. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Turn on the radio. It worked! Interior quality is in general top notch. Very Mercedes, very classy, and very nice to drive at night in particular. Standard equipment is, again, as always with Mercedes, very generous, but you don't want a standard GLC. You want this AMG line model, just like you want an M Sport or an S line, because it looks much better than the standard model. This one comes with 19-inch alloy wheels, tinted windows, AMG body styling. You get a flat bottom leather sport steering wheel, heated leather seats, and sport suspension for a more dynamic drive. This is the GLC 200D, and while dynamic is probably not the first word that springs to mind, it is very, very nice all the same. This one is powered by a 2-litre turbocharged diesel unit, which replaces the old, much noisier 2.1 and pushes out a respectable 163 horsepower, although there are higher powered versions available in the 220 and 300D, as well as an exciting range of petrols, which might prove to be quite a popular choice in these uncertain times around the black pump. But as diesels go, this one is super refined, nice and quiet, and combined with a gorgeously smooth power uptake from that 9-speed automatic gearbox, just make for a really pleasant and effortless feel to the drive. It picks up speed nice and quickly, there's plenty of power there for confident overtaking, and just a great feeling of balance and control to the car in general that makes it feel probably a little bit more engaging than what you'd expect from your typical SUV. Now the steering is definitely a little bit on the light side, but I actually think it suits the character of the car, not to mention makes life a lot easier in and around the city for any tight manoeuvres or tricky parking situations you might come across. And while that sport suspension might sound like a bit of a nightmare in terms of ride quality, it actually manages to stay surprisingly comfortable even on rougher road surfaces. So it's not that it's going to blow your socks off in any one particular area, but I do think it feels exactly how an SUV should, which is very comfortable, capable, and very composed. And that is the GLC. Definitely a very hot contender in this class, and definitely one to consider if comfort and luxury are a priority. And also if you happen to have quite a large budget, because as you might have guessed, this type of luxury doesn't always come cheap. The GLC starts at about €48,000, but can climb very quickly, as this AMG line model has, with the help of a few options, to closer to €60,000. Although in this bracket, that isn't that outrageous. Do let us know what you think in the comments section below. Like, share, subscribe, and join us back here next week where we'll have the CLA for another fascinating insight into Mercedes Namen culture. Till then, auf Wiedersehen.